This is a video like we've never done before because this one, we have decided to torture a British person.
Yeah, we did. It's okay. We didn't hurt him though.
No, we didn't hurt him. But we definitely tested his patience.
Yeah.
And Rich Trippin.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are a couple who loves to explore the UK history and culture. We're obsessed with it. It's weird. Agree, it's weird.
They are weird.
It's weird. But here we go. Let's get started. York, part 2. There's something so magical about walking down these alleys that it's just hard to put into words. It's just filled. It's like halfway between Harry Potter, medieval, culture, Roman Empire, and just put it all in a blender and try to just put that into a feeling, and that's what this is.
Plus 5 guys.
And there's a 5 guys, so it works. So right now we are on Ye Old Star Street, home of York's oldest licensed inn. And this is like a shopping mall, but if you wanted to shop in medieval times, you wanted to buy a Cartier and Joe Malone in medieval times, this is the place to do it. You got Evil Eye Cocktail Bar. You got Cartier down there. You got Bradley's of York, Barry's. You could buy a nice watch and go to the oldest pub, and it looks so cool.
This is definitely the coolest shopping area I've ever been to.
It's very unique. I would say one of the first things that shocked me when I came to the UK was the size of St. Paul's Cathedral. And standing here next to York Minster, it's still just shocking to know how old this place is and how big it is. And not only how big it is, but the actual detail that went into making it.
Look at those things up there.
Yeah.
How they're coming off the building like that.
Yeah. The detail and the little carvings, and it's just unreal.
Walking by there with the man playing the violin and the birds chirping, it's just like a dream. Like, that's what I wanted. I feel happy now. So walking around in York, we realized York is medieval and it's a very beautiful town.
Yeah. And
we were really enjoying like the looks of everything. And then like some of the places that popped up were like, oh, okay, that does not belong there.
No, it's so weird just seeing like you just be walking and you're like, this is like, I bet there's tons of history in this building that says 5 guys.
Yeah. I was just so shocked when I seen 5 guys.
Yeah. Either a guy can come walking out of there with a bottle of cologne or a medieval knight.
Yeah.
Both are acceptable at this point. And that's what York was. And it was just, it really was like, I was saying it was like a vibe, but it really was just like, it was hard to like this is, for a lot of people, this is their normal life.
Yeah.
You know, there's just like, you know, when I go to the mall, our mall is just like modern and new and stuff, you know, but there, it was really crazy. So we needed somebody's help to really grasp that. And so we called in our subscriber. All right, guys, we are just outside of York Minster. And I don't know what a minster is compared to a cathedral. I don't know. But
not a clue.
We brought somebody who probably also doesn't know, but it's one of our subscribers and we like him, and he's really cool. We have Mank.
Hello, everybody.
Well, I'm holding the microphone like this because it's normally on my lapel right here, but it's not. So we're gonna walk around. How much do you know about York?
I've been watching some videos over the last few days, so a few hours worth. So I know a little bit.
How much do you know about being British?
Well, I've been British for 42 and a bit years, okay. So I've got a fairly good idea now.
Okay, well, I think that's going to come in handy today. So this was freaking mind-blowing. Okay, so listen, like I was not expecting this. This was something that I just did not know. And then when I seen it, I was like, oh, are you serious right now? So like we were just walking and like he was, Mank was talking about, York Minster and stuff, and he points out his statue, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Emperor Constantine.
Yeah.
He was made Emperor of Rome here." And you know, like as a Christian ourselves, we was like, "Hold up, wait, wait, what?" So because we've heard of Constantine all our life, and we know like the story, however you want to, you know, you wouldn't say it was fiction. It was true, like what he did, and you know, if he won the battle, he was going to make, you know, the Christian God the God, and that's what happened. And then he spread Christianity through all of Europe. So the reason that all of Europe and the Catholic Church and basically all this is happening, he's like the start of it. But he was made emperor in York.
Yeah.
And now we're standing in York.
That was really cool.
It was like, well, you know what I mean? Like that's like another, like everything. I wouldn't even, like that was a thing that I wasn't even expecting to see when that was like the farthest thing from my mind. And Mank's just like, yeah, that happened here. And we're like, what?
Okay.
So then like he started like, he really, because we was admiring the architecture, and then he really got in depth with the architecture. And that was cool.
Okay, so at York Minster, we've got a really good example here of modern engineering in the Middle Ages, which enabled them to build this. Up there, you may be able to see above this extended bit here, there's these diagonal pieces that connect this to the main building, and they're called flying buttresses. That was a new innovation just as they were building this cathedral that enabled them to make it much, much taller than most structures at the time. Normally the whole weight of the building would push directly down onto any columns or anything that was in the middle, but the flying buttress enables some of that weight to be pushed outwards into these big columns here, so they could build it much higher and keep all the heavy stonework and glass and everything else that they wanted to. And that's why this is such a spectacular example.
The weight a lot better.
Exactly, yeah. Otherwise the whole thing would be, the centre of gravity would be too high. Is regularly replaced. I say regularly, I mean across centuries.
Yeah.
Acid rain and the weather and erosion and water getting in and freezing, and that kind of thing slowly damages it. And if they just left it alone, it wouldn't look like this at all. So behind the Minster, there's some workshops, and there are stonemasons and restoration specialists who do nothing but constantly carve new pieces and take pieces out and replace the damaged ones. Those pieces there around the archway there, see each sort of segment of it.
Yeah.
One of those with the sort of flowers that are carved into it takes a guy 2 weeks to carve one of those, working full time on it.
Wow.
1 second. So you say 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So you got 1, 2, 3. So that's a month for about, say maybe 3 feet.
Yeah, and then you've got all those different layers of it.
Yeah, and it goes in depth.
Some bits are more complex than others. They have a lot of reference points. They scan each piece now before they replace it, so that what they're putting back in is exactly what comes back out of it.
Okay.
They try to match the stone as well where they can, but where they can't, it just sort of weathers itself and goes back in. And you'll see the arch there does look a little bit lighter still than the stone underneath it, because those sort of weather better than the more fancy, I don't know if you call it fretwork with the stone. The remarkable thing about this is that I don't think any of this is sort of moulded. It is all carved.
Walking around York Minster with Mank was really cool because like you get to see it all and learn in person, and then you actually have somebody who has a little bit of knowledge, so you're not left really to fend for yourself to figure it all out. Like,
yeah, they sell tours, but getting a subscriber to come out, just completely just blow off their entire schedule, not caring what they do with their day, and having them come out and explain to you is so much cheaper.
Yeah, and really,
if you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
But what was really the really interesting thing was just like, you know, you have this historical thing and you can put the headphones on and you can listen. But where we had Mank, you could ask this question and say, okay, this is what it was then, what is it like today? So we got that contrast of like, okay, where is this church started to where is this church's position? Because if you watch our last video, I was talking about just how dominating these cathedrals and these churches and these in every town and village in the UK are, and it's where is their place now, and how is it, because at one time these was the government, and we had that answer, and he gave that answer.
Yeah, in terms of school, most of it's in secondary school, our history lessons. A lot of our primary schools are sort of based around local churches, so you have what we call assemblies in the morning, and you'll sing hymns to the piano and that sort of thing, and there's a strong worship element there. Often when people get to teenage years in schools like that, you'll get confirmed into the Church of England. And that's a bit like a second baptism, I suppose, commitment that you are going to carry on in church. But in terms of the history, that sort of comes really at secondary school, high school. And I don't know, it depends on the school, how many field trips you go on. It depends where the school's located. I mean, it's...
When they take, will they emphasize, British history? When you take a field trip, are they going to... when we was in school, they would, one of the things that was oh, I can name every president. Was there, a thing that's you need to know every single king that was of the UK?
Yeah, in history lessons, you do go through a lot of that. It's in the history syllabus to go through a lot of the history of the monarchy and the downfall of the monarchy and the restoration and the various things that Henry VIII did to his wives and all of those sorts of things are in there. Some of that, I suppose, comes with religious studies as well. So in religious studies, you tend to go to not just a church, but you'll go to the synagogue and Quakers church even. See different denominations.
I feel like they probably have a lot more to learn about their own history versus in America.
I feel that genuinely, when it comes to it, that you have to pick and choose. The school has to pick and choose what's important. What would be, you talk about the Archbishop, the Archbishop, was it of Canterbury?
Yeah.
And then, I'm sure there's a bishop of, are they really that important now?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're sort of second and third to the king as the head of the Church of England. So they've got a very significant role. Even in the media, you'll hear them quoted a lot and having their say on issues of the day, especially those concerning the Church of England.
And how much influence would you say the Church of England has on Parliament in today's time?
Well, in the House of Lords, for example, we've got 26 reserved seats for what we call spiritual peers. So they're set aside for Church of England bishops. So there's some influence in the Lords, but they don't usually make legislation. They scrutinise what comes up from the House of Commons. I don't think that they have that much influence over legislation in general, because if you look at the way that the law has gone in this country, it's gone much more secular. For example, equal marriage, a few years back they pushed very, very, very hard against that. And there was a concession made where same-sex marriage couldn't be conducted in churches, even though some churches wanted to. For example, the Quaker Church were very much in favour of it, but it was a concession that they wouldn't be able to do that. So there is some influence there, and I guess a keep happy stakeholder rather than a leading one.
Now, let's say on more of let's say more on a local level, would they have more influence of the Bishop of York on local laws and local stuff? Would they be more into that today? Do you hear from where you're from the bishop of your area or no?
No, not in Manchester really. There's a commercial element now to the Church of England where you sort of have a lot of concerts in the churches and cathedrals. I don't think that it's really driven by the influence on the local area. I think maybe the exception to that, and some of your subscribers will probably say differently to what I'm saying here, but maybe in smaller areas where you've got what they call parish churches and parish councillors and that sort of thing, it's a much smaller, closer-knit community, and I think that
they would have a little bit more effect on the local government.
Very much so, yeah, and planning decisions around the local areas and that sort of thing.
At a certain point, these things was a major part of the government, right?
Pivotal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But now-
even in my lifetime, I think it was much more significant in the 1980s than it was after that.
It just really started going down and became more secular.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying that the House of Commons starts every day with prayers.
Wow. Well, it still has an influence, but it's not nearly.
It has a presence more than an influence, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think it varies on your area, because this, where we're standing now, this glorious monument is a great tourist attraction. So in York, the Church of England and this building is, it's a very significant part of the fabric of York. So I guess it has influence.
So after taking in all that information, we just let the American come out and do what Americans do. Look at that. That's like, what, pipe working?
Yes. It's not like pipe.
Oh, well,
It's pipe.
whatever, Richard.
There's a lot more pipes than that in a pipe organ.
Look how big it is.
These must be the very low bass notes.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, we was 100% American tourist at that point.
Yeah.
Subscribers always tell us, and our commenters always tell us that in the UK, it is not as beautiful and amazing and awesome for everybody there. Thank you to the people who watch this video, and to our Patreons right here, and to our YouTube members. We donated money to the York Food Bank. We noticed as we was in York that some people get dealt a bad hand every now and then, and people just need help, and that's why we like to do what we do. We talk about UK and how beautiful it is, but we are not lost on that this is a country and there's people that need help. So if you guys want to donate to the UK Food Bank, the link will be down below. Say thank you to our patrons, say thank you to our Patreons, and say thank you to our members for helping, because our money goes to two things: exploring the UK, learning about the UK, and
Trying to help.
trying to help the UK. And we made this awesome shirt because we like knockoffs,
Yeah.
and we're making British knockoffs on our Patreon page for
Yeah.
some reason now. That's just where we're at in life. This is what I absolutely love more than anything. So I had no idea about. I was coming down here to a crypt to look, and then around the corner, look at the screen and say, okay, there was also a Roman fortress that sat right here, where your Minster is. It's history built on history. You can't explore one history without delving into another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to turn a corner and say, this is a Viking axe that we found here too. Like,
Yeah.
I love this. So this is, I guess what we're looking at is down here. These are the remains of that Roman fortress. I don't know how well it'll show up. So this tells you exactly where you were standing when it was the basilica. So it says you are right here. So this is, okay. So that's actually a Roman street down there. We're standing above a Roman street. So we're standing out on the street. So we're literally we're outside that building. See, just below that sign right there?
Yeah.
Where that road runs up through it. We're standing right there on the outside of that building. About 10, there's the Viking history. That's cool.
So you were right.
I'm waiting to turn a corner and say, this is a Viking axe that we found here too. In about 1030, a Viking nobleman called Ulf. So this is from 1030, from a Viking, or I guess would you consider them Danes? Were they called Danes or Scandinavians? And then you got where's that at? That's an Anglo-Saxon coin. Gonna miss him.
So this is ivory, and originally it would have had solid gold fittings on it. It's from the south of Italy. So this is Tiffany practicing for the Crystal Maze for when you come to Manchester. You have to see what the Crystal Maze is. It was a 1990s TV show, game show. Yeah.
This was another thing that blew my freaking mind. Listen, I get that there was like there was Romans there and there was Vikings there, but I did not know the freaking York Minster was built on top of freaking Rome.
No.
I didn't know if you just went underground there. There was a whole, like, how do you build a place like that? And they're still like, they just built a church. They're just like looking at it and they're just like, there's a Roman road here in a Roman place, and they're just like, we're just going to build around it. Mm-hmm. We're just going to build around it. They didn't knock it down or nothing. You just look down and you see the freaking Roman road.
Yeah. Like, how does that happen?
And then you walk the corner and there's the Viking horn that there was a Viking. It's like a 10-year-old was just made this place and was like just everything cool.
Yeah, just put it all right here.
Big castle looking building with like Roman soldiers and Vikings and just put it all in there and then let's get some like what was like the caveman type people here. It's like, or did you have the Saxons? Get the Saxons in here too. Like let's just coins and everything. It was just like
every little boy's dream.
It was freaking amazing. Like there was not enough time in the day, and then we walked down to the crypt.
Yeah.
Or we was in the crypt, but we walked in, and then it got weird because there was like some creepy stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, demons.
People being crushed to death. I guess that's fire at the bottom, is it?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a But we could only look at it for so long because we only had so much time.
No, we did not spend enough time in New York at all.
No, in York in general. So like we was looking at the clock and we had to go for next video because we had plans. You got to like and subscribe to see what that is because that is also awesome. We're kind of buzzed. We're going to do one scary ghost in this dark ass room right here. Mank's like, we got to go check out the Shambles. As we're walking out of York Minster, we're walking down towards the Shambles. And Mank just looks at us and says, oh yeah, that's where Guy Fawkes was born.
Yeah.
That was something if we would have blinked, we would have missed it.
Yeah.
Just a little, it makes me wonder how many little pieces of history that
all through our trip that we missed.
Yeah, that we just walked by blindly.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, but then we went to the Shambles. And for some reason in our mind, we thought to ourselves, let's torture the hell out of this guy.
Yeah. It's about time we spent enough time with him.
Harry Potter all day.
Yeah,
he
it's his
loves
favorite. We can't get him
Harry
to stop
Potter.
talking about it.
He's like,
it's a big part of my life.
We're gonna have to. We had to do something because originally this was apparently the inspiration. I said it was Leadenhall Market in London, one of our videos. So this is the redemption video. But we stopped by the potion shop and we got a potion drink, and Mank would not stop until we got one Harry Potter souvenir. He said he hates. Look at him. He's so destroyed that we're. He cannot stand Harry Potter.
We know you guys don't like Harry Potter, but he just loves it so much.
Yeah.
He couldn't quit, so we had to include it. We're sorry. It's not our fault.
It's not us.
I'll shut up about Harry Potter now. Once you demonstrate the magic potion.
All right, show him the potion.
Okay. We're doing it right.
I think so. Are you?
I don't know.
No. Oh yeah, there you go. Look.
I did it.
That was cool. That was worth the flight over here.
We got it done.
Are you spellbound?
Oh, I'm absolutely transfixed.
Are you happy now?
Yeah, ecstatic.
All right.
So what actually is interesting about the Shambles? There's tons of stores. They seem kind of a little bit touristy. A lot of Harry Potter. Looks like they're really buying into the market of Harry Potter. But Mank was telling us that all these are kind of built in on a lane because there used to be a butcher, a lot of butchers down here.
28.
What is it?
28 butchers.
28 butchers.
Yeah, the street structured like this because all the blood would run down the middle, down the slope and out to the end. Back in the day when the butchers were here, this would stink to high heaven.
Really?
This street would be absolutely disgusting, and it's not something you'd want to come to unless you were buying meat. And it's kind of like an inversion now that it's one of the biggest tourist attractions in the UK.
So
It's still the best preserved medieval streets in the whole of Europe, and possibly in the world.
So it went from a street that probably nobody enjoyed walking down to now it's a tourist hotspot.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Like I said, it's more of it has more of a touristy vibe. I hate when I say vibe. I don't like that. I'll leave that. Yeah. It has more of a touristy feel to it, but it's still interesting to see, learn the history. But right now, we got to go check out some Vikings. Oh, bad news. We couldn't get the tickets this morning. Then we booked a time slot for 3:45, and they close at 4 o'clock. And because we wasn't here at 3:45, we didn't get in. Now I'm sad.
Yeah.
And sadness makes my eyes rain. I don't know what to do now. So Mank gets us. The one thing that you don't know is like me and Mank talk quite a bit. He helps out with this channel a lot. So don't think that he's just some random person that we just call it out. Like I talk to Mank a lot, and the one thing I knew that Mank did not like was Harry Potter. So I just decided let's just torture, just mess with him a little bit about Harry Potter. So he's doing his best to like explain the Shambles to us, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Like it was really fun. But I was like, let's go check out the Harry Potter store because we do like Harry Potter.
Yeah, we do.
We do. And the whole idea of the Shambles, because if you check out our old video when we went to Leadenhall Market, or Leadenhall Market, we said that was originally the
inspiration for
Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley.
But some people say that this is, and then
the Shambles.
Yeah, but like realistically, like we covered all our bases on this trip.
Yeah,
we covered all our bases, but. That idea of like how the road was down because it was a butcher's street, like it was so fascinating. Just that idea, wasn't it? Like I thought that was really cool. And everything was leaning. And it just looks so whimsical.
The whole place is magical looking.
Yeah, it really is. I wish they wasn't doing the construction there while we was there.
No, I know. Obviously, construction has to happen and take place. But it does throw everything off a little when you're seeing it.
Yeah, it throws a little kink into the work.
Yeah, and pretty much everywhere we went, construction was going on.
Yeah.
Not just in York, in every area of our trip, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I mean, it has no choice but to happen.
But York was one of the most magical places I've ever been. We made a statement, or I made a statement last time about history on top of history on top of history, and that was the most literal sense when you went into York Minster.
It really is.
Let's just build on top of it. And then it was the same idea back with Clifford's Tower. It was just on top of history, on top of history. And I think one of the biggest things that we try not to do as Americans is not as Americans, because I feel like a lot of tourists mess up and do this. They get overwhelmed. And when they go to places like, let's say they go to London, they go see the Tower of London, and they just look at it and say, okay, King Henry VIII was here. There's a White Tower, a bunch of swords, and they never really delve into it. And I think that's most tourists. Like, they go to places all over the UK, or all over the world, and they see the site, but they don't understand the importance to it. And you're probably better off not to, or else you end up like us. And you're just basically trying to snort this.
Yeah, you got to change your whole life to try to comprehend it.
Yeah, and then because like the one thing that York did
The biggest disappointment was that we missed the Viking Museum.
Yeah.
That was the biggest. I was so mad, but I made up for it later on. You gotta watch the rest of the series to see, but I got to meet a Viking, like a real one. You want to see that? Hit the subscribe button. I feel like I've learned so much, but it's like anything else. The more you learn, you don't actually learn, you just figure out you know less.
You know less?
The more you learn, the less you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like it is with the UK. And it just leaves me, I wish I could look up and say, no, I'm glad I don't, but I wish I could look up and say that I come home from the UK feeling content or I feel complete.
No, every time we come home, we just want to find out more or go back. I feel like we only got to barely see nothing of it. We had no time, and we definitely need to like go back.
Yeah, no,
because we missed so much, like
Yeah.
the Viking Museum, and plus way more that we don't even know what's there.
And I want to know more about that Devil's Stone.
Yeah, like there was just like so much there, and we didn't plan that right at all. We definitely needed more time in York.
I mean, there's so many things that you can touch on in
Mhm.
York. There's just so many things you can learn about, and it just like I get thinking about that, and like it makes me want to cry. Like how much like I just want to go back, and I just want to be like I don't know what feeling I'm searching for or what like hole I'm trying to fill to understand it, but it's such a burning sensation just to try to learn it. Mank was talking about York Minster and how they do the restoration and the manpower and the hours, and my mind automatically was like, where do you go to watch them do this?
Yeah.
Where do you go to watch them recreate these stones to maintain this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Mank brought us some gifts.
I love this. Is so dumb. I love it. So dumb. I love it.
And if you want to see what gifts he brought, you're going to have to hold tight because that's coming up in the next video.
Yeah, and it's super exciting.
Yes. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about York. You guys suggest us go to York? Suggest us more places. And like and subscribe so we can go to more places.
And tell us how long we need to be there.
Yeah.
Because we don't know.
Yeah, give us a day because we messed up right there. There was so much more I wanted to see. I am Rich.
And I'm Tiffany.
And that was one of the coolest places I've ever been.